indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friend. Thank you for joining me again. Another day! You! Keep going. We're talking about the bliss of ignorance, the luxury of ignorance, if you will. How this generation of humans are not afforded the luxury of ignorance anymore. You know, that we live in an age where not knowing things is a choice. You know, I know we can go deep into that one, but that's what we're talking about today. That's the topic we'll explore. You friends will contribute, will tell me what you think about it. I'll share back. Maybe we'll have Christian share his thoughts as well. Is that so, Christian? You're dying to share your thoughts. I can feel it though. So many thoughts coming from you right now.
No faults.
We'll have some chats. We'll have some cool conversations. I see beloved Joviv and Shan is here already. So early. I'm impressed. I'm actually impressed. Thank you for joining me. It's day 677. Is it? It is. It actually is. Christian, what do you think of the number 677? You believe it has superpowers?
It's not 66, so no.
Tell me again where the 626 thing comes from?
Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch.
Experiment 626.
That was Stitch?
That was Stitch.
He was 626, bro.
My favorite was 222, the electric one.
Dude, you remember that Disney series that they kind of dove into all of the variants?
Mm-hmm.
That shit was cool though. I think I was 13 when they brought that shit out. I was like, yeah, I can still vibe with Lilo and Stitch. Experiment, I feel. You know, I feel experimentation is the antidote to ignorance as well, so. And then some runes.
Your photo's a bit concerning today.
It was just as you joined me, bro. As you joined me, I had to pull a face. So. Okay, first rune, up pointing arrow dude. I need to learn these things' names properly, bro. Gabe.
Why do you need to learn them? You can just reference them on the internet.
Eventually. But
Gabe was the easiest one to remember.
It is, bro.
Dagos.
Degas and Gabu are the ones most stuck in my brain. And then the protection one is also pretty stuck. Isa means like individuality, also pretty stuck. Onthala, the end times. Let's do an Onthala as well. Fuck. Sick. Christian, this is a family-friendly channel. Thank you very much.
Oh,
We're monetized right now, so
telling me this now.
we're only going to be friendlying for
Starts
families.
listing the most profound words.
Starts Geneva conventioning yourself. I love you, friend, so much. Thank you, Joe, for joining us. It's nice to see you, beloved friend. How are you doing? Isaac is here too. The microphones are officially sent. They're on their way. They'll be here soon. Did you stay up for the eclipse jump in? I don't think we had the luxury of seeing anything. It has been raining. It rained like the whole of last night. We woke up to just shh. It was beautiful. Then it cleared up for a bit, and then it shh a little bit harder, and now there's actually sun again. So we haven't had the luxury of seeing the moon in a while, Christian. Can you remember the last time you saw the moon?
What's a moon?
Is such a thing as a moon? You know that? I don't know if it's true, but there was this major outage in I think Las Vegas, bro. And people just actually called the police.
Viva Las Vegas.
Called the police to report that they're seeing shiny things in the sky, and it was the Milky Way. They were like, something is amiss. There's too much right. What's the outside intention? The inside intention is experiments. Wise experiments. Useful experiments, efficient experiments. Experiments of knowing, experiments of gnosis. You know, let's call it gnosis. Straight up freaking gnosis. Oh. Some powers, bro. Did you know there was a whole Bible in the book called Gnosis?
No.
Yeah. It was basically a little bit the esoteric side of Christianity. And they were like, yeah, no, we'll just leave this part out. Gnosis means to know God. In the Gnosis part of the Bible, it basically, instead of all of the other rules, it states that the only way to know God is to know God. By Gnosis. The knowledge of God. You have to go and figure it out for yourself, essentially. That's the only way. And they were like, yeah, no. We're not going to put this part of the Bible in the Bible. Because we want to tell them what to know of God. Isn't that funny, dude?
Amazing.
Isn't it amazing, Christian? And now we're doing that, right? Experimenting with the infinity. Again, I love this quote especially, that religion is the collective belief or agreement on what God is. And spirituality is the pursuit of what God is. To go and find for yourself.
You know God?
Do you know God?
You know God?
Right? And again, it's weirdly tuning into today's stream topic, the luxury of ignorance. Because in a way, we'll continue to be ignorant on that level. Like, I don't feel we'll truly know the full expanse, the full breadth.
Love
Right.
that series.
Expanse?
Yeah.
The full infinity that is God. We won't be able to truly know it other than knowing it through ourselves. Right? And I feel we're heading into an age now where we have access to more information than ever. And this information can technically be a good thing. You know, I wouldn't be the person I am today if not for the information I've been exposed to my whole life. Through the internet, through teachers, through people's opinions, etc., etc. But at the same time,
Calm down.
it also is the thing that can pull you away from it. Like, you can be lost within the information. You can be enthralled, captured, even manipulated. Maybe that's another word. You can be so in a fractal, in a way of thinking, that other ways of thinking just disappear to you, right? And it's a weird paradox, because I feel we shouldn't be as ignorant as we are as humanity anymore, and yet certain levels of ignorance is increasing. Right? Maybe that's the paradox of today's stream topic as well. Because I'm basically stating that we are the last humans who will know the luxury of ignorance. Because we're heading into an age where we'll know things. We'll know things that has never been known before by any other human being. Right? And that's an interesting place to be in, don't you think? An interesting way of existing. To know things that have never been known by any other human being that existed before. And you're already that, right? You're already that. You've seen, potentially, I hope you have, James Webb Telescope photos. Just that, though. Yes, dude. Have you seen the Pillars of Creation through the James Webb Telescope?
So cool.
Beautiful. And now we get to see stuff like that with our human eyeballs. That is a level of ignorance that melts away that has never melted away before, dude. Seeing stuff like that, Christian. Imagine showing like ancient astrologers photos like that, bro. They would cream themselves.
Astrologers.
What would you call them?
Astronomers.
Astronomers. I mean, technically they were astrologers first. I don't know if you know that, dude. Technically. They became astronomers, by the
Is that
way.
a word? Astrologers.
Search
Nice.
as well. Is there a difference, or what is the difference between astrologers and astronomers?
Meaning. Apparently there is a fucking word called astrologers.
Yeah,
Holy
yeah,
mother.
Yeah.
Sorry, holy crappy.
I'm not stupid, I promise. The point I'm trying to make, dude, is these people who were studying the stars, you know, having this view of what it must look like out there in the universe. And we just get to. That ignorance that they had, we no longer have access to. And me and Christian were having this conversation about the universe, right? Like, we are really early when it comes to where in time we exist. So early that we get to literally see the cosmic background radiation left over from the Big Bang. You know? That's crazy. And we also have access to the light from neighboring galaxies, neighboring universes. Well, not neighboring universes, neighboring galaxies, neighboring star systems, etc., etc. Eventually, with the continued expansion of the universe, there will be beings born in galaxies that will be convinced there is only a galaxy, nothing else, because they won't have access to the light of anything else. There will just be their galaxy. And again, it creates this ignorance in them that might be beautiful. But us having the knowledge of all of these other galaxies, it creates a sense of inspiration, a cool, imaginative space that you can work within. It allows you to think wider. So you see the edge I'm surfing right now, Christian? The edge between the power of ignorance and the power of information, dude. Is there a line between those two as well, or are they paradoxical in themselves? At what point do you know too much?
No such thing. Unless you like axe yourself off. Whole different story.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying. You know what? Like, you know what's coming to my mind is just social integration. I feel that's the bottleneck for knowing too much. Is if you know too much, you will separate yourself. You will be seen as other. People will feel other to you. They'll feel other to you, and they'll feel that they are other when they are with you. So maybe that's the real bottleneck, Christian. Again, coming back to the whole the line between ego and infinity. It's scary, transhumanism, and being one of the machine to benefit our abilities is coming. It's here, friend. It's here right now. For some reason, my phone didn't charge at all. I only noticed now. The YouTube one did, but not the Reddit one. I have only 22% battery left, so it might die in the midst of it. Again, our friend saying that transhumanism and being one of the machine to benefit our abilities is coming. We are one of the machine right now. You know, that there is an interfacing happening here. There is an intention, attention you're giving, and then this thing is giving you the attention, the intention that you have searched for. Right? It's like a mirror to humanity. That's what technology is to me. I've said to Christian that if we could rename the word for computer or cell phone, I would rather call it an interfacer than anything, because you're using it to interface with something, right? And technically we're interfacing with parts of our humanity. We're interfacing with cat photos, photos of beautiful sceneries, video games, so simulated war, which is something we used to have to interface with physically. And we're allowing ourselves more freedom in doing that. More freedom, and yet at the same time we're more stuck than we've ever been, because we don't have to go to places to interface with things that we can now interface with at home. Right? It's a weird edge that we're surfing in that way as well. Christian, you gonna join me for the joint?
Yeah, sure.
Are you making more art?
No?
This gangster, he's just pumping out art like an insane person. He's trying to one-up me. He's trying to be on the Wizard King before me.
Maybe the Wizard King.
Yeah, I officially became Christian's first Patreon supporter today. Yeah, Christian can now officially say he's a successful artist.
I'm a successful artist.
He's making money. Actually making money from your art, Christian.
Stealing money from my friends.
You're not stealing anything. You can like chin your dad, bro. Dad, I'm gonna be an artist. He's like, what the fuck? You can do what? You can do what now? Thank you, Brother Bay, for taking the jump, man. I'm proud of you. I passed out like an hour before. Here you are, Brother Joe. I mean, the eclipse was, right? And here you are on the other side of it as well. You're getting all the rain you've been asking for, Mel. It really is happening. Like, there's so much rain falling right now. Apparently on the farm as well. I'm pretty happy for it. Vindira, see you too. Thank you for joining us. The sky was so clear, and I was waiting for the great anticipation. And then, well, I just woke up. Joe, what do you think about that, Christian?
He just woke up.
He went to see the eclipse and then passed out
Oh.
before the eclipse.
It's definitely worth it.
Boo.
It's not something that you get to see often. So,
Apparently, you know,
Definitely
and this
take
has
full
been
advantage.
this has been in my brain ever since I heard it. It's bad luck to look at the eclipse. So,
Really? Who told you that?
Some astrologer
Good
chick on
question.
YouTube.
Some astrology chick on YouTube. Oh my word. You know, I was thinking about it today as I was driving back from work, bro. You know how it was pissing rain, dude? It was pouring
Like,
out,
it was
windy
coming
storms,
sideways.
like hurricane rain over here. Literally, now it's just sunny.
It's just nothing, dude.
It got so
pretending
hot
that it didn't
out of
happen, bro.
nowhere.
It was like, imagine your mom screaming at you and then being super nice to you.
I don't know if
directly
this
afterwards.
happens often in other places in the world. I guess I haven't been exposed enough, but this is a phenomenon that is
In some places it works like that, dude.
particularly interesting in South Africa. It's just absolutely, it looks like it's gonna rain for weeks, you know, like it's just gonna be cloudy and dark and dreary, and then it just drops out of the sky in a matter of minutes, and suddenly it's sunny again.
We do have a fair bit of rain here in South Africa as well. Probably plays a role. Things move, so that rain is just like sweeping over us. I've been mentioning to Christian that we're probably going to get a lot more rain in South Africa over the next few years. As the atmosphere's temperature increases, so does its ability to retain moisture. So more storms,
Or violent storms.
violent storms. There's gonna be
It's
more.
actually kind of concerning. It almost does look like hurricane level weather patterns here.
I hope all of it is in love, dude. I'm sure it will be. So we can stay above it. And the five lurkers love you, Jovan. Thank you for joining us too, friend. Reminds me of Ellen Watt's talk on life being as complicated as we make it. True, there is information pouring out of the world, but it is in a way man-made information. Like, I've been thinking about sound so much in that context, Isaac. How we can differentiate between much more frequencies in sound than we can differentiate between frequencies of light with our eyes, right? So in a way, your ears is a better apparatus to interface with the world than your actual eyes are.
What do you think came first, the ears or the eyes?
So technically, I believe the photoreceptor came first, dude. Like, I do think it did.
Particularly in mammals, I'm inclined to agree.
Mm.
I'm actually not certain. Let's find out.
I'm-
We've got the power.
We've
of
got the power. I'm
Google.
pretty sure photoreceptors formed first, but I feel the ear is like an upgrade. You know, as soon as we came into
Eyes are the most advanced form of information
I-
reception.
I believe that. I believe that when it comes to, you know, our ability to interface with the world. But I feel like the ability to hear, and we had this conversation this morning with the whole baby that hears for the first time, dude. Like,
Oh yeah, that thing freaked out. It's up to the air whether early life forms both seeing or hearing first. Eyes by at least 14 million years. The only invertebrates with ears or land anthropods. We don't know at all.
mm,
It's up in the air. We don't know. Up for debate. What do you guys think?
ears or
Eyes or ears first? I suppose eyes makes a lot of sense for it to come first, but why would you need ears? Ears are for like digging. No, not really.
ears are very important to survive in your environment, dude. Because you can detect from all directions. It's not the
Fish
same.
have ears? Fish don't really have ears.
Yeah, they do. I believe fish have
Fish.
ears.
Do fish?
Do fish have ears? Not the ears we have, I can
Well,
guarantee you
there are
that.
usually no openings on a fish's head for sound to enter. They do have inner ears that pick up sound through their body. So it's not like ears.
It's that like ears, dude. Your ears are just interfacing in the same way, vibrationally. It's just their body.
They pick up sound with their
It's
bodies.
their bodies. I mean,
I guess it makes a lot more sense because of the vibrations in water being a lot stronger.
okay, I don't even know if I want to share this information, but you can, if you put an explosive in water,
Mm.
that shockwave literally kills fish by bursting their eardrums. That's pretty brutal, dude.
That's horrifying.
There's this thing in South Africa where people create chlorine bombs in milk bottles attached to bricks.
Nice.
And they throw it into the water.
And then they catch fish with that.
Yeah. South Africa's thing.
Ingenious.
Very, very crafty, you know, you definitely can run it.
Ratchetly so.
Ratchetly crafty. You learn about technology that we created, the fundamental closeness that the spiritual soul takes but a snap to pay attention to. It is in an intimate space that just takes attention. And breath, you start breathing and you spend some time in stillness. And then there it is. It arises. It arises like it's always been there. And every single one of it, I believe, fundamentally is that, where it's this stillness, and then from that stillness arises this deep sense of, oh, I am.
Maybe being alive is a straying from spirituality.
It's straying,
Yeah.
like we're doing something wrong.
Maybe it's the exact opposite, is we're getting away from spirituality by being alive. In fact, you're closer to spirituality when you're dead or an inanimate object. There's actually a very interesting theory that's, this is from an anime called Vinland Saga, that says human beings are incapable of feeling love. I'm sure I've talked about it before.
Incapable of feeling love.
Yeah, what you're feeling is bias.
Okay.
It's a bias. It's not actual love. So they theorize that you can only experience true love when you're dead, when your body is dead. Because when you're dead, you're not angry that the ants are feasting on flesh. You don't feel pain, nor do you feel sorrow or any of that. You give fully of yourself without expecting anything in return. Feed the grass, the animals around you, provide nutrients for the future.
I mean, I get what you're saying with the bias.
Whereas the alive thing is, you don't feel love towards that other thing, you feel a bias towards it because it benefits you in some sort of way.
But I give plants water. Not because it benefits me in some way necessarily.
I mean, it does on an emotional level for yourself.
I guess. Like I'm just seeing this person, like going about giving plants water, dude. Like just for the sake of seeing them get some water.
Look, I'm not a supporter of that theory, obviously. I do believe humans are very much capable of loving. I personally think of my love for the sea, for example, is I just adore its very existence, like how something could come to be.
So
This
beautiful.
vast blue blob.
World. It's a world.
It's a world.
It's a world, dude.
A world of water. It's so cool. Our planet is beautiful in comparison to everything else out there. Biased opinion again.
I feel like it's a cool thing to think about. Because it makes you consider what it is, how it is you love, why it is you love, what biases you have to loving in a certain way or another.
Dude, we have hot springs on Earth.
Like
natural
water heated by volcanic currents.
It's a natural warm bath, bro. Just provided by Earth. You didn't have to build it. None of that. Try find that on another planet for me, bro.
Yeah, bro, come on. It probably is on other planets.
You get fruit here.
I just think
Hanging.
we are in paradise right now.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah,
here.
we really started seeing it from the perspective of imagine living on like Mars or Venus or Neptune where it fucking rains diamonds. Like, pierce you into nothing, kill you immediately, right? Here it rains water. It's soft, it's nice.
Life juice, as you said.
Life juice.
Life
It just
juice.
rains life juice here, dude. It's ridiculous. It's just like, we're gonna be so nice to everything on this planet. We're just gonna rain.
And it cycles between itself, so it's almost like you're getting pieces of the ocean, dude.
I'm seriously trying to think of an organism that gets badly affected by water, except maybe bacteria, certain bacteria.
Even they proliferate too.
Overexposure to water.
Well, I mean,
Suffocate.
certain cactuses don't
I
do
don't
too
know.
well.
Really, with a lot. Well, I'm thinking like water in general, just very water being bad for it.
yeah.
And I don't think I can imagine anything like that.
In our world, water is an essential necessity for life. We need it.
Is water harmful to anything?
Technically, it's harmful to you.
I mean, vast quantities. Effects on human health. No, I don't care about human health. Contaminants, no, I don't care.
I don't think you're gonna get the answer you're looking for, dude. You're gonna need an AI model to understand what you're asking of.
Do you think so?
Bruh.
These are the complex questions.
Exactly, dude.
Yo, your battery going down.
I told you, it is dying, but it's okay. Alita, it's here too. We shouldn't be, but we are. The sooner we accept it, the sooner new possibilities are unlocked. I had this trip where I just kept kind of like going through this loop of how crazy form is. You know, that you formed into something out of everything, out of nothing.
All living things from tiny cyanobacteria to giant blue whales need water to survive.
Everything, dude.
And life exists wherever there is water.
For now, we believe that. Right? Technically, you can have a
Thank you, Mama Gaia.
methane-based life form, dude.
Thank you.
Imagine that something that's blood is methane.
It's pretty metal.
That's pretty metal, dude. You can have silicon-based. You can have
Methane.
silicon-based life forms as well, dude.
Do you think we'd call them methods?
Man, they'd be so offended though. We give them our machine-learned model of what a method looks like, and they're like,
That's not
"Why?
a nice
Why would you
comparison.
do that?"
That's quite mean.
The fun thing is, the minute they lost their minds about how amazing the web photos are, that's ready to see more. We can see as much as we feel like. Our world is not quite incredible to look at. Our world is quite incredible to look at, I was about to say. It really is, and I feel weirdly enough, we have this deep fascination with looking into different worlds as well. I feel that's what art really is. If someone has created a work of art and they start stylizing and they start almost like condensing into the fractal that they most represent, it is like looking into someone's world.
I think art is also the allowance of spontaneity, the acceptance of spontaneity. So sometimes, and this happens very often in, for example, the poetry realm, is you don't just sit and force an idea out. You know, sometimes you can just be doing groceries or having a chat with a friend or, I don't know, cycling. And suddenly, like this, it's like out of nowhere, this thought just fucking assaults you. And you're like, shit, I better write this down before I forget it right now. And it can be an incredible thought that you can then choose to form into poetry. And that's also what I imagine a lot of art is. It's an artist looking at something like a painter, looking at something and seeing like, I want that on canvas forever. Or even in the mind, an idea just comes out of nowhere. Well, again, either cycling or shopping or et cetera, et cetera. So it's that admiration for the spontaneity and allowing it to exist in the real world.
Dude, and you know, I hear you say spontaneity, and at the same time, my mind is trying to figure out if there's a formula to it. Right? Like, you're doing these things that
You
are
can
unconnected. Like, I wonder if it's just a variation thing.
you can write a formula for it, sure, but I feel like that takes away from the art.
So,
If you have a set steps of rules, you know, that you need to follow through, and then you produce art.
so here we are, dude.
Okay.
We had this conversation about living being art, right? Yesterday as well.
Sure.
So if you think about like the world of dating, for example, in the future. Now listen, hear me out.
Okay.
Hear me out. Where instead of
Cringe.
matching with someone and then trying to have the conversation like over text, you know, trying to basically, I'm going to say something derogatory, you know, just like pretend to be something, if you will. You get basically matched, right? This thing that helps you be spontaneous, tells you to go to a certain place, sits down at the stool.
Is it still spontaneous?
There's a person next to you. You start having a conversation, if you want to have a conversation in the first place, right? Instead of it having to be this dance, you actually make life the dance, dude.
Oh my god. Well, I feel like I got lost in the argument.
It is a bit much. Like again, it comes back to this whole point of ignorance versus actually knowing, right?
I feel like you can develop a funny bone for art though. Well, sorry, not a funny bone, like a sensor,
A
an
detector.
abstract detector
Uh-huh.
that you get better at implementing more and more and more. You almost train your mind to it. It's kind of why I sometimes see it as like magic, because it's a thought process that you follow through your brain. Your brain's a funny place, and then you follow it more, you follow it more, you train those neurons in that specific direction, and then you, by following that path constantly, can produce something that most other people can't even imagine because that path never began for them. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. You know, and I'm seeing that diagram of the noise, and then a little bit more oscillation, and then stability, bro, as your ideas form. And when you just start with anything, there is a lot of happening, and then from the there are
Noise, static.
informational patterns that arise as well, and you basically get good at oscillating in that frequency for yourself. I feel again, there's a sense of ignorance and knowing again, like we were talking about ideas just coming to you. That's what the flow state is technically, right? That's
Mhm.
what, and you're trying to put yourself, exactly, you're trying to put yourself in that flow state, and that's why I'm asking about formulas.
The more relaxed you feel, so the less stressed you are in a situation, the more likely you are to remember it and recall things easier as well. The more stressed you are in a situation, the more panicked, the less you're capable of recalling those things.
You know what's
Remembering those things.
a curious trick that I've heard for that exactly is that when you feel you're panicking or stressing or unrelaxed, instead of trying to figure out how you can be more relaxed, try and figure out how you can make the other person more relaxed.
Is this in terms of a conversation?
Conversation, a social situation. Like, I don't know if it works that well for being alone.
I really struggled with a lot of study material out there because it was so clinical,
Mm.
if that makes sense. It didn't
It's like
feel,
this is what it is type of vibe.
yeah, it was pretty, I don't know, it was like shove this information down your throat and keep it there.
Mm.
It wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't interactive or engaging, I guess. Engaging is a good word. There are many, many books out there that aren't considered educational standard that are written far better, far more understandable by the general masses. And all that it is a massive change of tone. It's like, so yeah, then you take, and funny examples as well.
Stories, dude.
Funny stories.
Mm-hmm.
Or like so unapologetic almost. Like, I'm gonna crap at you. This is how it works.
You know, and like I heard this beautiful quote by a dude that goes into what science has become right now, where the scientists we're producing right now will tell you that something does not exist or isn't real if there's no peer-reviewed papers around it.
Mm-hmm.
And what science was supposed to be is literally pushing what is not peer-reviewed papers. So it's like that clinical, this is how it is, right? This is the consensus. This is what you're supposed to believe. This is what you're supposed to know. Again, the luxury of ignorance, dude. That there is within ignorance and science, you know, like a good thing as
But
well.
it has to be peer reviewed.
Of
It
course.
has to be scientifically approved.
I'm not talking about, well, that's the thing, dude. You can't do things anymore unless it's been agreed upon.
Yeah, by the general masses.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. It's wild what age we're living in. It's this increase of information and knowing, while at the same time specialization in a way where we can't ever know everything. You know?
Yeah, there's a lot to know. There used to be a lot less. A lot less. Now there are all kinds of jobs that have opened up in the world that, of course, require quite a bit of your time to study into, or at least spend with it.
Mm.
And that's time that you're not spending on something else, like for example chopping wood. If you were to take some of your science friends out and ask them to chop some wood, it's amazing what you'll see.
You don't think people want to chop wood anymore? How did the platypus come into existence? Duck-billed mammal that lays eggs and has venom in its back
So-
feet, and also can detect electric impulses in the water.
Pure chance. Chaos.
Pretty neat, dude.
Chaos.
And it
that
also,
somehow work
you know what's
together.
the craziest part about it having venom? It evolved venom completely separately to the venom that was evolved in the snake species as well, dude. Which is really out there. Maybe it's just the aliens kind of trolling us with a live animal in the universe.
It's the same with the octopus. If you think about it, the octopus is pretty damn freaky, man.
It has almost 80% of its neurons distributed in its arms. And it grows back neurons and arms, dude.
It also dies when it gives birth. That's a given.
You can think about it again from the whole perspective of.
And when they have
consciousness,
sex, the male rips off his penis and chucks it at the female.
It has all she needs inside of it, though.
These are actual real animals.
I'm just imagining ripping a limb off of yourself, dude. Just in general, bro. Like the mindset that goes along with that. Is there screaming? There has to be screaming, right? Or do you
feel
do
pain?
Or do you do it stoically? Exactly.
Feel pain.
Is it just straight face ripping?
Feels
your
like
arm?
I don't know. It feels like a relatively fair trade-off, almost. Not quite. I mean, death is pretty bad.
Well, again, we can think about unity consciousness, bro. If they know they are the same thing that's going to be born, there is no death. There is just a re-emergence, a re-explosion of
Yo,
the
but
cell
rip
that they
your dick
were.
off.
It grows back though, doesn't it?
Yo, woman, you have my mad respect out there, ladies, for the things you go through to procreate and continue life.
I like to think of it these days as women being quite literally a portal
Dude,
to life in this universe, dude.
why does it have to be so painful?
Well, we're creating vat babies now.
That
They-
is, yeah,
that's
true.
coming as well.
I'm actually and my dad would crucify me for this, but I'm a firm supporter.
Of course,
Vat
dude.
babies.
Like you can think of it again as it's a technological limitation, bro.
It's also so good for the kid
It's also so good for the women, dude.
and the woman.
Yeah.
Sorry, let's not
It's-
forget.
It is really dangerous growing a child inside of your body, dude. And then getting it out of your body again is also very dangerous.
On
dude.
top of that, birth defects,
it's
accidents.
exactly it's I feel in a way more humane towards the mothers of Earth, bro. And we've already done it with a lamb. We've done it though. It works.
It works, yeah. Now mass produce it.
Like that brings in the ethical question again. Are we gonna try and mass
Now we're gonna
produce
have to
humans?
vote on that, dude. Well, no. It's not about mass producing humans.
That's
Maybe
defi-
it'll become
that's
an
definitely what it's gonna
if
be
it's
about.
gonna become a fucking admin thing, bro, where you have to qualify on a certain level before you can have babies, bro. That's what we're headed towards. Oh,
credit scores, bro, and
Just credit scores,
carbon
education.
scores.
your looks. Can you imagine your looks being a thing?
That's dystopian, bro. We can't allow that shit.
What's
man.
more favorable these days? What are people looking for? We're looking for blue eyes and dark hair. Sick. I just described myself. That was an accident. But anyway,
Check. I'm gonna be alright.
anyway, point being, there's gonna be certain rules.
I mean, they've tried that, and
Then you're gonna get illegal bad babies.
you're gonna get illegal bad babies. You're going to get what's
A
happening
whole
in China,
new
bro.
can, a whole new can of problems.
It's
bro.
just too much.
This
bro.
this is the power of balance. Is we can provide that babies, but now let's try the logistics behind it. What is that gonna imply for our society?
What does that mean? Again, Holmes, I think we're going to be facing a population decline over the next 100 years. A significant one. There's going to be more 65-year-olds in the next 10 years than there's going to be 5-year-olds. Think about that shit, dude. Yeah, go and look it up, bro. That's how it is. Like, we're getting older than we ever have, Christian. People are like easy peasy living to 100 these days, dude.
I don't know about easy peasy, but that is concerning.
It's that whole quote of the first human being that's going to live to 1,000 years has already been born. Think about that shit, though. I keep saying this to you. We're there. We're there.
I'll
dude.
believe it when I see it, bro.
We'll get to. I think that's the crazy thing, man. We're heading there.
If I can be part of the process, like the computer science team that's tasked with finding what is necessary to put a medicine together, That just
Oh,
probably be gene editing actually.
Yeah, I was about to say you should consider
It's just
just
a little vaccine. that
you should
you
consider applying to one of those companies, dude.
inject into you. They don't pay enough yet. That doesn't mean the job isn't available to me in the future.
This is true. But again, if you want to be one of the people that helps develop it, then you're gonna have to be one of the
I'm
people
gonna
that
need a
helps
fucking
develop it.
master's, dude.
You don't think you
At
have enough
least-
experience yet?
At least a master's, bro.
dude.
Maybe a PhD.
You are the only one that impose your own limits, dude.
Your phone is gonna staff, bro.
It is gonna die soon. I appreciate you Reddit friends joining us. To the 431 friends here. If you want to continue watching when this thing bazanks, you can just go and search for Meltmore on YouTube. We'll find you on this side. Thank you for joining us, friends. For spending the time you did have. We get new levels of ignorance as the new levels of knowledge occur. As we develop new knowledge, we develop new tools which we can observe with that give us new things that we didn't know, that we can develop new tools with, that we can observe new things that we didn't know, that we can develop tools. Yeah, it's gonna be a ride. It's gonna be a ceaseless ride, and we're here for it, friends. New knowledge occurs. We have all people in our society who have the fundamental priority of love and children, who they have the same. Either can be ignorance, the physical or the technological, like the form and the formless. The form is the holy that is always present, always tappable. It just enjoys watching from change and comfort. From change and contort? Comfort? I think maybe comfort. It is the fun of living to learn. Like, it makes me think of the whole, you don't know everything, you get to know everything.
Mm-hmm. You can choose.
Exactly. You don't know everything, you
Well,
get to know everything. It's a
Maybe,
process.
maybe eventually.
Again,
Not in this lifetime. alone. Not in this lifetime alone.
but that's the point I'm trying to make, is you get to. Within infinity, right? And it's ceaseless. There's no knowing it. There's
There's
just
a
getting
lot
to.
of everything.
Exactly, dude. That's a trip. Existing as a rock, watching from this perspective. Existing as that rock, watching from this perspective. All of the everything, Christian. Eventually.
It's such a dichotomy. You really start feeling like an idiot.
And yet, it also is what gives me the most satisfaction and fascination, right? It's the whole Plato's cave thing, you know? Like, we are quite literally the cavemen looking at the shadows right now. We're the cavemen looking at the shadows, Christian, and there is much larger things, and there's perfect archetypes of things. But if it spawned perfectly, without any imperfection, it wouldn't be unique. So there is a fault, there's a frailty, there is a
If it wasn't spawned with any imperfection, it wouldn't have the opportunity to get better.
exactly to evolve. That's the thing, bro. That's what makes it beautiful. Instead of just the duality, the Trinity creates this new generation of the thing that always was, bro. Also a conversation.
Someone
we
said
had.
aliens will make great pets.
We'll make great, please, aliens. I'd have the coolest
I
conversation.
don't think that is as cool as you think it is.
Bro, don't you think so?
To be an alien's pet.
I would love to be an alien's pet, to be honest, though.
Yo, then they neuter you, bro.
Christian,
Then on top of that,
why would they neuter
while
you?
you are the alien's pet, bro, you will be plotting some way or another to overthrow them.
I wouldn't actually,
I would, dude.
Christian, just imagine these hyper beings, dude. That again, in the same way when you use a computer and your dog just sits next to you and has absolutely no fucking idea what's going on, that's what you're gonna be seeing. You're gonna be like, what the hell is... And this thing is gonna...
Oh my god.
You're gonna be like, something is happening,
It's just
clearly.
meaningless noise right now.
Bruh, and you can try, you can try to have a good time. Imagine the places you'll go, the things you'll see, dude. That's the thing for me. I'm a traveler.
Will I get to do it with other people?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, then.
You have other
sick.
pet friends the same way you have multiple dogs, dude. They love you. Like,
What if I'm
playing
the only
together.
pet, bro?
Christian, this is your story.
Mm.
Do you want to be the only pet? I
Oh
like
my
how
God.
your brain is like, yeah, how about suffering?
You guys have very optimistic scenarios for aliens, bro.
Dude, it's your scenario.
They're just gonna put us in a giant alien zoo and see how we survive with all the other alien animals.
That Rick and Morty episode where the observer just has multiple different species in little cages, so walks around, stares at them with cold indifference. No expression. Just looks. Oh,
If we could imagine if we had the nicest alien invaders ever, bro. They just shower you in LSD.
bruh. That would be concerning.
There
bro.
is only love.
Wow. Everybody suddenly has information.
Everyone's just hugging each other, high fiving, having a good time.
Christian, some people will try to hold on. They won't melt.
Then they get lasered by the love alien.
Laser. What type of laser? What does the love laser do?
Destruction laser.
Destruction. I'm just.
D-real laser.
That's just cease being real in the universe, dude.
Oblivion. On top of that, it takes your soul as well.
That's horrible. I'm just imagining them starting to dance, dude, profusely. Suddenly they're like smacking down to music in their head, bro. They look insane, but they're like, that person must be happy. It's clearly they're vibing.
Just don't mess with their fun, bro. It's like, can we please stop partying now?
Womp. God. Ceases existing. That's hectic, Christel. Please, my mind's not ready for this. Our friends are just entering their day. Minds getting melted. The more you learn, the more you unlearn. Yeah. You know, it's that, and also this experience of, I feel there's something good about forgetting, just in and of itself.
What's nice about forgetting is that you can do it again, as if it was the first time.
You can have a novel experience, right?
So there is a gift.
Like the
in
form. I get one real one. Knowing too much, being like Plato's allegory of the cave, dude. Jovan is in the same.
You're
fractal.
stealing Jovan's idea.
Jovan is in our brains, dude. Thank you, beloved Maxine, for joining us as well, friends. Nice to have you here. How are you doing? How did you sleep? We know so much more than people in the past. Yet, do we feel anymore? That's an interesting pondering. I think we feel through the same mediums, right? I just feel we have a lot more access to avoid feeling certain ways than we ever
I
have.
kind of think we do feel more.
Maybe we
Feeling is almost tied to understanding.
a breadth, like a depth to your ability to feel as well.
What is empathy if not understanding?
Mm.
I guess emotions also lead to understanding. I don't know, it's a paradox. Because how can you know the heights of joy until you've experienced that joy? You don't know what needs to happen in life for you to experience it. Normally, the greatest senses of joy wasn't something that you worked towards, it was something you never expected. That elevates your appreciation for the world around you, that makes you awe at it and being like, wow, reality is capable of making me feel this way with none of my effort. Like having a part in it.
Mm. I like as I was listening to you, I was being transported to the space of like almost sitting and watching a sunset, you know. And I feel, even though I agree completely with you with the amount of beauty that there can be without you having to contribute anything,
Mm-hmm.
you still have to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel that's the bare minimum contribution you have to make.
Well, you have to, like, I don't know, you have to be
Either.
at the right place at the right time.
Yeah. Exactly. But it's a weird paradox as well, because there is no real right, right? It's no more right to sleep in and, you know, be cozy than it is to get up and watch the sun rise. There's no real more right. It's just about the amount of significance you'll get out of each of those moments.
I think it's also a bizarre thing of a wish, you know, a desire, some sort of hope that you want fulfilled. And the more you hope for that thing and don't get it, the more that bank of happiness is piling up.
Hmm.
It's just like an investment. And more it's piling up, the more it's like, oh my god, I'm not getting this thing. Where is this thing?
It's the ramp up.
I'm fighting for this. I'm fighting for this. I'm pouring so much fucking time and hope into this. Please let it happen. The happiness bank is going up, 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 and then it happens, bro. But just like safe of saved up happiness just crashes on top of you.
That happens, but unfortunately, you don't have banks to store happiness in when it gets released. So it just kind of flows over.
Yeah, then it's gone.
Yeah. You know, and that's dopamine, dude. That literally is what dopamine is. And that bank being built up is the ramp up. Like, again, most of the dopamine you ever experience comes before you ever get the thing. So, in an example, if you tell kids, we're gonna go to the ice cream shop, and then you drive to the ice cream shop, and then the ice cream shop is closed, they'll die inside. More than they'll die inside driving past the place and just being told, no, you're not getting any ice cream. Right? That's it, dude. It's this build up, and then it's like a negative that gets closed. And we do that to ourselves.
That's
Like,
amazing.
you were talking about that, right? Like, I'm trying to get this thing, why am I not getting this thing? And it's
But then the next time you get ice cream, bro, it's extra freaking good.
but you're attaching something to the ice cream, right? The ice cream should be something that
That's
you
your
have.
choice, bro.
I feel it is, of course, your choice, but it's also
Bye,
at the same
Reddit
time-
viewers.
Reddit got zoink.
Reddit just got ripped, bro.
Swink. Disappeared.
It's my new favorite word from you, bro. Dumpster.
Dead dumpster.
God dumpster.
I feel like a dumpster is such a disrespectful thing in the universe.
Such a shitty thing. It's a dumpster. Nobody likes a dumpster.
It's just like the eyesore of humanity at this point.
It's
bro.
literally the trash of humanity, bro.
And I don't know if you've seen these new systems that have like these tubes, bro, that go underneath the city that everything you throw away instantly gets transported to a processing facility.
Isn't that good?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I think it's good.
I think it's good.
Yeah, instead of having all of the waste, all of the trucks having to drive these things, or having the trash ever get outside, in your home you have a place to discard of your different materials, you know.
Isn't that the American thing that goes?
No,
that
that's a disposer.
That thing's hectic, bro.
Bro, they just exist in America, dude. Like that's
Put your hand down there.
it will eat you. It's
Terrifying.
It's supposed to chop up the bits of food you discard.
That is terrifying. Efficient.
We don't have them in South Africa. I've not seen a
No.
single one of them in
No.
my life.
That's because our trash piles aren't high enough yet.
I think we also don't discard as much food in South Africa.
I've seen a lot of food discarded, bro.
Bro, not in a South African household.
I've
though.
seen a lot of food discarded in South Africa.
Sirs?
I'm certain.
Not in mine, bro. My dad likes to call himself the human trash can. Like if there is morsels of food left, he'll inhale it. I definitely understand where that comes from, bro. Black hole. Inside all of us.
Beansy. So we know that's
Beansy.
interesting. That's the whole feeling more. I'm barely awake. How are you doing, Beansy?
Share in the Patreon
And
link,
please.
yo. How far back is that?
It is 18 minutes past, and we're an hour in basically. I'm gonna try and
You
be
are
able to present.
so far behind.
Jovan, Aiden is actually here with us today. It's nice to see you, brother bear. Thank you for joining us as well.
Aiden.
Aiden. Bill Gordon. I switched to THC vape. No more 70% useless plant matter. Yes, but at the same time,
Vape is also not proven to be okay for you.
I'm not really too worried about that. I'm more worried about this dude's tolerance, man. When you start smoking THC vapes, it's like
It's very addictive.
very much. Well, not addictive, but
It's addictive.
it makes you do it more.
I
which-
am personally aware it's addictive. I smoke vape at work.
You're not reading what he's saying.
THC. Oh shit! I'm sorry. I for some reason processed THC vape as nicotine vape.
No. Like that's
Selective
that's
reading.
powerful weed, dude. Have you ever had one of those vapes?
Isn't yours?
Like imagine
Atomizer.
imagine using the gold of the weed. You squeeze the gold out of the weed and you put that into a vaporizer. So it's pure THC that becomes aerosolized.
Good luck to you,
You
sir.
take a puff of, and you're zoinked. Knocks
Never
you
the
out.
same again.
Like I literally again, I felt like an alien the first time I did it, dude. I was.
I don't know. I don't know how some people do it. Is in any substance.
You
honestly.
become desensitized.
I'm
to
thinking
it.
of any substance. I'm talking caffeine, nicotine, MDMA, etc., etc. How do people take these massive quantities of these substances? I'm usually a pretty sober person. Those of you that know me, I swear I am. I like maintaining my set standard of thinking, and I also enjoy deviating from a little bit of drinking, a little bit of weed. That's fine. There's moderation in these things. But then, I mean, and I'm remembering my younger self in the scenario as well, where it was a lot. It was a lot in like one sitting and then moving on throughout the day, and that really whacks you out of your typical mind patterns.
It spikes you too early.
There's almost this discrepancy in your centeredness, if that makes sense.
I'm thinking about it almost as usually as a slow upwards tending curve, where if you spike early, it's like a waving thing. That feels like it almost ends you with feeling less than the slow upwards curve. I get what you're saying, Holmes. I feel it's a balance as well. With everything, it is exactly that. And again, we have the information to know what is balanced these days.
I suppose so. I think it's more up to personal
Yeah,
experimentation.
we have access to people's anecdotes, dude, and we can see how things influence us in a way that we've never been able to before.
Or allegories. Some of
Exactly.
those posts are complete propaganda.
I feel, unfortunately, we have access to actual people these days.
That's true as well. And
We
personal
can-
experiences.
Yeah, we can talk to each other. Cable is here too. Thank you for joining us for the day. It's nice to have you here. Bill, my art comes from my time machine. That's pretty gangster. Tell us more. Give us your time machine code. I feel true artistic creation is birthed from a certain mindset. You cannot channel artistic soul while living into the egoic sense of physical self. Once you open your mind to allow the flow, instead of author your experience, you allow expression to happen. Isaac, dude.
Bruh, I should write a book, Isaac.
Please. We've actually, I don't know, can encourage them to do that. Ignorance tells someone, don't take the road, the bridge is out. And they drive off the bridge because they didn't listen. I feel that's beautiful. Again, we're losing the luxury of that ignorance. Because I feel it would be impossible to ignore the facts, dude, eventually. We're the last generation that will be able to ignore the facts. We'll be seeing how things are, how things could be, and we'll still choose to be like, But we won't have the luxury of that anymore. It won't be easy to be like, It's gonna be like grunting, where you can struggle. big
People
struggle.
are still gonna choose to be ignorant.
Exactly, dude. But that's the point. It's gonna be harder than it's ever been. Though Melita saying consciousness level is not high enough to be able to develop certain areas of interest. The science is a straight line. The current state is way too static and clean, reducing its primal goals. I feel we're trying to do that because we're trying to again understand, right? There's this belief that instead of seeing everything as a function or as an expression in and of self, it's trying to express for something. Like a flower having a pattern isn't growing in that pattern because that's how flowers grow. It's because there's this underlying force that is patterned. And the flower is just trying to embody that. Imperfectly every single time, but trying to.
It's like a corruptive, recursive algorithm.
Yeah. And again, it has to be a little bit corrupted because the imperfection makes it fractal out. It's a ceaseless fractal pattern in
That's
that case.
freaking cool.
Yeah. That's what the flower of life
I just
is.
read the one right under that, which was cephalopods are the shiznit from Javan.
Cephalopods.
Cephalopods are the shiznit, Javan.
Thank you so much for the encouragement and for the enthusiasm. I feel for me the craziest thing about them is the fact that they have parrots' beaks, dude.
Yeah,
Huh?
that's pretty freaky.
How
They
weird
do
is
have
that?
actual beaks.
Little parrots' beaks. It's
Some
pretty
of them
crazy.
have two eyes, one really big one and one kind of small one. One is to look up, the other is to
Oh.
look down. And
I
they
didn't
glow
know
in the
that.
dark.
Some of them have bioluminescence. Dude, for me, just the fact that they can change cells on their skin and create different colors, bro. They can change the texture of their skin, Christian. They can drop onto a piece of growth and like literally form their skin into the same growth pattern.
Mm-hmm.
That breaks my brain the most out of all of it, actually.
It's beautiful. Such precise control.
Art, dude. Aiden's saying art to me is a sort of meditation. It's resting in a state of presentness and allowing your mind's eye to manifest a new fractal.
The present is the magic realm. It's amazing how shit we are in staying in the present.
I feel the present is where everything was created from in the first place, dude. Right? So
Time exists in the now.
you're creating it right now. You just have to notice it. Thank you for the Aiden for saying that as well. I don't think so.
The fact that we started measuring time, dude.
That's the biggest mistake we ever made, bro. We wanted to be efficient at things. Mike Kristen. Bill, I am just the father of quacking waterfowl. Oh, this is Duck Dad. Thank you, Mike, for joining us, friend. It's nice to have you. Susanna's here too. I keep showing up late because of daylight savings time. I guess South Africa doesn't have that.
I'm pretty grateful for that.
Yeah, it really helps. I'm so not down to just change everything. But the Jack says the time construct is flawed. We have more friends talking about time. Dude, that's crazy. And I skipped down a lot, right? Hence the leap year and the daylight savings. Adjusting the clock means that it's not working properly. I feel we've just become locked in a box by our current set of time. You know, it's like I call it time anxiety. And I jokingly
I think a lot
say
of
this.
companies are guilty of that right now.
Right? It's like the whole belief you're falling behind, dude. You're not spending as much hours as your competitor in X.
Yeah.
It's some bullshit, dude. I was in a New Yorker documentary last March. Please share it with us. We would like to see it as well, friend. Yeah, I don't use oil cards anymore because of how they spike your tolerance. How easy it is to get you blasted all the time and lose any sense of time management. Yep, that's what I've heard from pretty much every single person that kind of gets into those. It's just too much. It's just a little bit too much. A joint can be a bit delayed. And like even with this, we technically just take puffs of it. And then that's like
Small amounts.
small amounts.
It's not, stupid brain level.
It's hard to just take like small little sips of a vape, dude.
Oh, babe, yeah. You want to fill your lungs with that stuff.
Really, it's a tea break reminded me of how, yeah, I can get high. I just don't for a little. Exactly, and then it becomes again this diminishing returns thing. And as soon as you realize you're in that diminishing returns place, it probably means you're supposed to stop, at least for a while. Been a day smoking the whole last week, so maybe gotta cut back. I'm probably gonna cut back as soon as I'm back home as well. You wanna cut back smoking weed as well here?
I'm anyways going to naturally.
Yeah, you're actually gonna come
I
up
don't-
in your
I don't smoke.
interview.
Yeah, that as well. You'll
Maybe we'll
cut back.
keep you off the weed for a
Yeah.
while.
I think that's a good idea.
Maybe I'll join you. Just maybe. Thinks about it. Maybe. Yeah.
You know what's good for you, bro.
I do.
You do your thing. Come, pull card time.
Full card time. It is, I guess, an hour past. I caused the Yellowstone flood playing Moses in a documentary. That sounds badass, dude.
Send a photo of yourself.
Yeah, did you have a
You
costume?
look like Moses.
Like I'm kind of seeing you with a staff, a big beard, a robe, a gangster robe. Ooh, it's more beautiful the more I think about it. It's like
A
white
gangster robe.
with like these gold inlays, dude, on the robes, on the neck piece.
I
Look,
don't think they were that rich, yeah.
he's Moses. He's God's
Moses
only.
was pretty rundown.
Right. Clearly, God would
Moses had
have
a tough time.
blessed him with super robe. Make him look like the biggest badass. Made him wizard king.
Made him- Makes sense, bro. You had a staff.
Exactly, bro. Gotta go. Have a wonderful day. Love you, Mike. Thank you for joining us as well, dear friend. Shannon, Melt, now that you're present, I wanted your opinion on this. Innocence is ignorance before it is exposed to fear. Yes. Innocence. Innocence is a big one, right? Innocence has a lot of connotations to it. Uh, so it kind of takes my mind to this story that we get told as children, right? As soon as you come into the world, your parents' preconceived notions of the world, their fears, kind of get imposed onto you. And that is technically, and I get what you're saying in that way, where you lose your innocence. Because
No,
you,
no, no. He says innocence is ignorance before it is exposed to fear.
that's what I'm trying to get at as well. How do you understand it?
Innocence is ignorance before it is exposed to fear. To me, it sounds like you're ignorant until you get exposed to fear, which results in innocence.
That's weird. I'm experiencing it the exact opposite way of like you're innocent of ignorance until you expose your innocence to the fear, right? Like the
Maybe we
thing.
need a clarification.
I feel it's beautiful, nonetheless.
Innocence is ignorance before it is exposed to fear.
I feel fear is the one thing we should be getting away from, right? Like again with the whole love is true statement. Every single time I have fear arise in me, I remind myself that love is true, right? That fear isn't the truth. It might have like served a function in our world for the longest time, but it's not the truth. It's more noise than anything. Christy, you gonna pull a card? You're gonna pull a card for us today?
Sure.
Maybe fear of failure, fear of change. I think fear in general, you know, just fear in of itself creates this experience where you want to survive, you know, and we're past the point of just surviving. I feel. I didn't want to sit with that vape. Yeah, it's just like if you smoke too much weed, it kind of just turns you into a plant. I have a bunch of cards, and I basically just went through a whole month greened out, and I realized I had to chill. At least you do. I think that's the most important part. Maui Wowie oil, 81% THC. That's a lot of THC, dude.
Maui Wowie.
It's your body, fortunately. You know, it's your experience. I believe, you know,
Maui
in the same way with
Wowie.
all of us. If you pay attention to what your body tells you, you pay attention to how you feel, and you are willing to kind of make decisions instead of just living in ignorance. All right, take responsibility for how you feel and be like, maybe if I change things, I'll feel differently. And then watch a self-experiment. We actually had experiment on the inside of the joint, dude. There you go, experiment. See what is for you. There's a line in the Bible even that goes, "Probeer alles, behou die goed," which directly translates to try everything, keep the good. All right, keep the good. What do we feel about dabs or live diamond? Ooh, diamond resin, dude. It's like crazy stuff. I was like actually white THC. I've only had like one dab in my life. Never live diamond or resin. Sounds nice though. Very very terpy, right? Tastes good. Opposite is what I mean. You are innocent. You approach the world unsure about knowledge, without fear. Once you find out that you can fear something, yet choose to be unaware because of that fear, you become ignorant to the
That
knowledge
makes more sense.
instead of innocent. Ooh, I think that's even more beautiful.
That
Thank
makes
you.
a lot of sense.
Thank you for clarifying, Isaac. That's amazing. Yeah, you know, again, it brings this judgment thing up in my mind. You know, like who do we know? How do we know what is supposed to be innocence and what's supposed to be not? None of us know, truly. That's the ignorance we have. But I feel if you're trying to live a good life, if you're trying to help people, if you're trying to help yourself, you know, get out of a funk, if you're stopping yourself from telling yourself negative stories, if you're treating yourself like you actually would treat the person that you loved, right? Really loving yourself as much as you would love this idealized partner, idealized pet, idealized job, idealized lifestyle. Loving yourself that way is where it starts. No depth for me. I have mom and I'm a mom and stuff. 2 eyes and yellow background. I'm allergic to pot. It makes my eye red. Same. I have a big dab rig. I still like the resin/rosin high. I just don't want the convenience of the vape. Don't want the convenience of the vape. I'm guessing you're just talking about like having it in your vicinity is just too easy for what it does to you. The fear can be simply resistance. You can be resistant to do something meaningful. Something you're meaning, you're afraid of the action you are going to commit. You are not ignorant. You're not innocent to the experience, but ignorant to what can be. Feels like a lack of imagination. For some reason, we're scared of imagining things as well. You can smoke weed. Yeah, I can't smoke weed anymore. My partner coughs too much from my lunging. So I feel like dabs have less plant material. Maybe it's a little bit easier on his lungs as well. I should be a millionaire by Christmas. I hope for your part so, friend. Blessings to you. Can I borrow some money? Nice, Jack. Card 54. You want to read for us, Christian? Card 54.
That looks sick.
That's pretty cool, huh? He's on Elemental Embrace, the 7th card.
It's pretty gorgeous.
That's card number 52, Christian.
Elemental forces synthesis.
There you go. You're on the wrong page, huh?
Oh fuck. Okay,
There you go.
that makes a lot more sense. It's pretty certain it was 50.
I mean, that's a significant card in the
Octahedron, nourishment, air. The octahedron, with its 8 triangular faces, is one of 5 three-dimensional shapes called the Platonic solids. Seen in another way, an octahedron is a figure created by 2 pyramids sharing the same base. One pyramid points up and one pyramid points down, dividing space into 8 equal directions. The octahedron is associated with the element of air and is a symbol of nourishment, with the powerful ability to bring together differing viewpoints. It is earth and sky energies united. It is male and female in balanced understanding. This card invites you to consider how your life is nourished by broadening your perspective and looking at many facets in many directions in order to find balance and nourishment. Reflect on the effect of 8 aspects on the object of your inquiry. Sit quietly and breathe in and out. Contemplate each aspect. How does cooperation affect your view of the situation? Might patience help events to flow more freely? Remember, at our core, we are all love, and joy and peace are our birthright. Feel appreciation for the process and gratitude for the understanding you will gain. You may want to choose other aspects to explore. Create your own list. The message here is to know you will be nourished by expanding your point of view.
And technically, I did pull this card upside down, Christian, which goes, an aspect of intolerance needs to be addressed. Expand the generosity of your spirit and feel how that lightens your life.
Tolerance goes both ways.
It does. It does.
Oh my
But I feel at least we're not ignorant to what we want to be tolerant of. This is what I have to deal with. What book is this? This is the Sacred Geometry Cards with the Visionary Path by Francine Hart. It's going to be reversed, unfortunately, but
It's an ultra hippie book.
it's pretty nice, you know. Sacred
So
Geometry
hippie.
is a whole vibe. Thank you, friends, for joining me. Christian is making me lose my mind. Dude, your insanity is too much. Oh, I can pick up on too much of
It's
it. The empathy. My
It's-
brain
it's
is
fun.
like, feel what
It's
Christian
fun.
feels. Feel it. And I'm like, fuck. That is sort of. And I'm like, no. Breathe.
Enjoy your day, guys. Remember to be patient with everyone out there.
Be patient with yourself. First, be patient with yourself.
And then your friends.
And then your friends, and then your family members, and then the world at large. Don't be ignorant to the fact that patience will serve you. Right? Love you, friends. Where is Johan? Missing his energy. Johan is
Johan.
probably finishing up his projects.
Johann Sebastian.
Johan Sebastian. He is doing well though. He's working hard. I'll reach out to him again. Should we invite Johan over tonight?
Tonight?
Tonight.
Not tonight.
Not tonight. Maybe soon. Thank you. Melida,
Javon, Javiv, Jumpin' Jack, Aiden, Bill, thank you. Aiden says, you are love, you are loved, you are loving, you are lovable, and you are worthy of love. How about that, Christian?
That's pretty cool, bro.
Do you believe it?
Yes.
I'll believe it. Was great. Know you. Thank you, friends, for joining me. I'll see you, friends, again very, very soon. Goodbye, everyone. Love you.